Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, the one and only Hosting Cruz, bringing you another exciting edition of boxing. Don't forget to hit and to like, subscribe to my channel. It's always greatly appreciated. Stay tuned. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Hosting Cruz, and I am here to talk about likely the end of a career of a very good fighter in the X-Men, Nicholas Walters. Nicholas Walters, ladies and gentlemen, Jamaican, but fights out of Panama, has lived his majority of his life and career, boxing career in Panama. Nicholas Walters actually speaks fluent Spanish. I don't know if you guys know that. I'm sure a lot of people doesn't know that. I didn't know that, but I've known that for some time because he lived in Panama. I think he was raised in Panama majority of his life, and throughout his professional career, he trained over there, so the Spanish is fluent. But, of course, Jamaican, originally. Nicholas Walters, the X-Men, former world champion, 29 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw, 22 knockouts. It seems like in his last fight, it was the end of the road for him, in my opinion. He's 39 years old, ladies and gentlemen. Father Time catches up to any fighter. Not everyone is George Foreman or Bernard Hopkins. Every fighter ages differently. Nicholas Walters, during his prime, was a very good fighter, very solid fighter, very formidable boxer puncher. He can hurt you with both hands. Good fighter, man. Good fighter. I remember when he burst on the scene on HBO back in 2013, 14. When he fought Victor Chinian, when he turned in a sensational knockout performance over Nonito Donaire in picking up the featherweight title in the WBA organization. He won that fight by TKO in the 6th round in impressive fashion. And I had Nonito to win that fight. And Walters came out victorious in impressive fashion, knocking Donaire out. Then he fought Miguel Madriaga, who's as you all know him, he's a veteran out of Colombia who's fought Oscar Valdez, who's who in the sport of boxing. To Nicholas Walters, like I said, to Scott Quigg. So, and he was the first to take away Miguel Madriaga's undefeated record at the time. So that was a pretty good win. Then he fought to a draw against former world champion Jason Sosa, Puerto Rican fighter. Very good fighter. Then he lost to Vasily Lomachenko, where he quit on the stool after 7 rounds, and he did a no mas, and we didn't see him for 7 years. Came back in 2024, had a couple little tune-ups in Panama, and he fought Joseph Adorno last year at Pro Box TV, winning a unanimous decision with an impressive performance. I thought Adorno would have beat him up and get him out of there, but Nicholas X-Man Walters, he had something left in the tank for Adorno, man. He won the fight basically with a jab. That's how impressive his victory was. Beating Adorno with a jab. It's a nice, solid jab for 10 rounds. Of course, he did a little more than using jab, but he won the fight majority of rounds with that jab, and that jab was on point. It was snappy. It was powerful. And that's what got Nicholas X-Man Walters the victory. And lift some eyebrows. Like, okay, Walters maybe has a lot of fight left until this past Saturday night on Pro Box TV, when he lost his recent fight to stoppage to Luis Torres Valenzuela out of Mexico. Tall, young, a lot of punches, good power. And coming into the fight, I didn't know who Valenzuela is. And the commentators was like, this guy's going to test Walters like never before. He's going to make him feel 39 because he comes to fight. He brings power, a lot of punches, Mexican. And it was shown. The fight only lasted 3 rounds. Now, prior to the fight getting stopped, Nicholas Walters was having his moments, landing repeated counter right-hand shots. He was using his jab. And he busted Valenzuela eyelid open. Nasty cut. It was a fight-ending cut. And unfortunately, right after the fight right after the cut happened, you know, in the following round, the cut happened in round 2, and the fight ended in round 3, where Walters turned his back and said like he did a no mas again, but the referee gave him a standing 8 count. And eventually the fight got stopped in the corner, where the corner and his trainer and corner didn't allow Walters to come out. But it just showed that at 39, the fight overall, it just showed us that Walters didn't really want it anymore. When it was getting tough in there, and he had to bite down on his mouthpiece, you know, Walters didn't want it. You know, at 39, the hunger for a lot of fighters at 39, it's likely not going to be there. And when it came down to it, yes, he had enough to outbox Adorno last year. And it's crazy that when I look on the box rec and the record, that fight happened a year ago. So time flies. That fight between Adorno and Walters happened a year ago, which is crazy. And Walters coming into this fight with a year of inactivity is not good. He's already an old fighter. And coming off 7 years of inactivity and little tune-ups last year, actually in late 2023, to fight once in 2024 against Adorno, turning on a solid performance, and taking a year off was not good. He was supposed to come right back within, 4 or 5 months, 6 the most, not a whole year. So that didn't do any good for Walters. And the results shown. A year later, he got stopped in 3 rounds in a fight that I thought he had a chance to win, because he impressed me against Adorno. But it is what it is. But at 39, and after turning his back when the fight was getting tough, I think that's a sign that it's time to retire. Because it's not going to get any better from here on out. He's 39. He's not going to get any younger. And yeah, I think it's time for him to retire. He had a good career, former world champion, has some pretty good wins, but I think the axe is time to be hanged up. So yeah, just want to come out here and talk to you about Nicholas Walters, man. He was a good fighter in his prime, and I think the curtain is closed on a good career in the Axeman, Nicholas Walters. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Holston Cruz. Don't forget to like, subscribe to my channel. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys about boxing right here. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.